Please can I welcome everyone to this meeting of the Leader and Cabinet Member for Asset Management Decision Day, taking place from the Walton Suite, Winchester Guildhall. The time is 11 a.m. My name is Councillor Martin Todd, Chairperson, Leader and Cabinet Member for Asset Management. This meeting is being live streamed and recorded to the Council's YouTube channel. Subtitles are available and the advice on how to turn this on is set out on our website. Please can everyone ensure that mobile phones are on silent or switched off completely. In the unlikely event that it is necessary to evacuate the building, the fire alarm will sound, and please can everybody follow the instructions given to you by our team. Turning to the agenda, the first item is public participation. We have no request for public participation. The second is visiting councillor representation. We have no visiting councillors wishing to make representation. And the third item is the Winchester Football Club statutory compliance and improvement works. This is a paper that in essence identifies improvements to be made to the Winchester Football Club building clubhouse to bring it up to tackle two standards that need to be met. The first is statutory compliance, which is required for any kind of public building, particularly one owned by council. And the second is compliance with the standards of the Football League. And if I understand the paper correctly, and it's important to do this because the new pitch, the floodlighting, the parking improvement, all the improvements that have been made now need a clubhouse that measure up. We are in a position where we're going to be renewing the lease with the football club. The combined work that's necessary to make it legally compliant and compliant with Football League standards and just more modern is 245,000 plus VAT. The City Council is going to be funding the sort of statutory improvements, if I understand correctly, and the football club will be paying the sort of facilities improvements. And the way this will be funded is rather than them coming up with a lump sum up front, it will be reflected in a changed lease payment. Have I understood that correctly?
Yes, Leader, that's the proposal. It's a lease payment over 10 years with the cost of work split over the 10 years, a provision for interest on that, which represents the council's lost opportunity cost for that money, and also we have to charge VAT on that as well. And that will be a total amount that will be charged by the lease, and as the report sets out, that has been agreed with Winchester Town Football Club.
Right, thank you very much indeed. And as I understand it, because this is effectively setting an envelope for the work. So if it turns out that the works are slightly cheaper, then the figures would be adjusted down. Is that correct?
Yes, Leader. This report we're asking you to consider will set the budget, which allows us to go out to tender. If after the tender results are back in, the numbers change, then obviously that will need to be renegotiated once we have that information.
Right. Okay. So if it was more money, which we don't expect, then you need to come back for a second decision. If it's less money, then we'll adjust the lease payment accordingly in line with how the costs come in. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Well, I've had a chance to read through all the papers and all the details. They're available on the website if anybody wants to see what the details are. There are 3 recommendations in the paper which need to be agreed today. The first is to allocate £145,000 from the property reserve to one-off revenue budget to fund the statutory compliance works. Those are the works to bring it up to the standards necessary for disabled access and other similar improvements. The second is to improve capital expenditure of £100,000 using the existing asset management budget to fund the improvement costs. So those are primarily the improvement costs requested or that are consistent with the new higher pitch standard and the needs of the Football League. And then the third is to enter into a lease with Winchester City Football Club with terms to be agreed by the corporate head of asset management, including the payment of base rent plus an additional sum to cover repayment of the tenant's works. So that is the decision to set a rent that repays the capital expenditure of £100,000 for the improvement costs, plus the VAT and the interest. So that's the decision. And those are the recommendations in front of me today, and I will agree those recommendations. So those recommendations are agreed. That brings to an end all the business of this meeting. Thank you for those of you who've been watching online, if there are any of you, or watch this in the future. Thank you to the officers for the work that they've done to prepare this particular paper, and to the football club for the improvements that they're seeking to make, and the real progress that they're making in terms of the facilities, and importantly, the offer that they're making to the wider community. It's something that's an important part of what's going on. The new pitch is having a huge impact on the level of football that's played on that particular site, and having the facilities go with it, and their ambition to put those in place is very welcome as well. So thank you all to all involved. I declare the meeting closed.